Hello, welcome to our News Broadcast Daily, and following are today's headlines.
Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng meets with Hanoi voters. President Trương Tấn Sang receives Iranian Minister of Industry Mine and Strait. Vietnam News Agency and Greece Press boost cooperation.
General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, Nguyễn Phú Trọng, on May 14th met with voters in Hanoi's districts of Hoan Kiem and Tây Hồ to know their opinions on a series of issues which will be discussed at the 5th sessions of the National Assembly.
Almost all voters agreed with the planned agenda of the upcoming session, saying that the legislative body is performing its role better and better. They had worries concerning a number of issues, such as education and training, rising consumer prices, quality of goods and healthcare services, as well as the lives of coastal and island residents. The General Secretary attentively listened to the voters. He then spent time exchanging opinions and clarifying a number of issues that the voters raised. According to the party chief, the National Assembly will conduct votes of confidence in the aforementioned sitting. The work will be carried out carefully, he said. Regarding the lives of coastal and island residents, the party leader assured voters that the party and state pay special attention to the issue, aiming to protect the nation's independence, sovereignty and people, and develop the country. The party General Secretary also noted the voters' opinions on increasing the National Assembly supervision over large national projects, including bauxite mining projects in the Central Highlands.
President Trương Tấn Sang has affirmed that Vietnam hopes to intensify its cooperation with Iran at international forums. He welcomed Iranian Minister of Industry, Mine and Trade Mehdi Ghazanfari on May 14th in Hanoi.
At the reception, Sang spoke highly of Iran's remarkable socio-economic development. He said both sides need to seek ways to further tap their potential in economics, trade, culture, and society. The state leader agreed with the joint commercial cooperative methods proposed by the Iranian side. He recommended that the two nations work together to increase two-way trade. The Iranian guest briefed the president on the commitments with Vietnam's Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. He affirmed his country is willing to cooperate with Vietnam to increase bilateral trade to $500 million per year. He suggested Vietnam adopt preferential incentives to export its agricultural produce, such as rice and rubber, to Iran, and help the Iranian side enter the Vietnamese markets with its key products, including oil, gas, and wheat. He said he hopes that Vietnam will put forth cooperation policies in tourism, science, and technology so that more Iranian entrepreneurs and tourists come to Vietnam.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng held talks with his Russian counterpart Dmitry Medvedev in Moscow on May 14th as part of his official visit to Russia.
The two prime ministers exchanged opinions on orientations and measures to implement the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. They agreed that the reliable political relations between the two sides should be further strengthened through delegation exchanges of all levels. They spoke highly of the outcomes of the first round of negotiations on a free trade agreement between Vietnam and the Customs Union of Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan in Hanoi in March. They affirmed that the signing of this document will be a breakthrough to realize the goal of raising two-way trade to $7 billion by 2015, $10 billion by 2020. They also agreed to continue boosting bilateral cooperation in defense, science, technology, energy, and education and training. The same day, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng met with Speaker of the State Duma of Russia, Sergei Naryshkin. Dũng said with the two sides' political determination, bilateral relations will become more and more effective and practical, making important contributions to each country's development and meeting the desires of the two peoples. The Russian Duma head appreciated the two countries' friendship and cooperative relations over the past time and spoke highly of contributions by friendship parliamentarian groups between the two sides. The Vietnamese Prime Minister on May 14th also met with representatives of the Russia-Vietnam Friendship Association. During the meeting, he praised the association's great contributions to consolidating and developing the two countries' traditional friendship. When meeting leaders from several Russian businesses, Dũng said the Vietnamese government will create all possible conditions for Russian firms to invest in Vietnam.
The leaders of the Vietnam News Agency held working sessions with Greek correspondents in Hanoi on May 14th to boost information cooperation between the two sides.
During the session, both sides shared the view that the event would benefit the establishment of a cooperative channel between the press agencies of Vietnam and Greece. Deputy General Director of the Vietnam News Agency, Nguyễn Hoài Dương, introduced to his guests some features of the agency and its staff of over 2,300, including more than 1,000 correspondents and news editors. Both sides agreed that there is much potential for the Vietnam News Agency and the SBC-TV-SA of Greece to expand their cooperation. On the occasion, Deputy Director of the agency's television center, Vũ Duy Hưng, and SBC-TV-SA Vice President Cyprus Kouroupis signed a memorandum of understanding to cooperate in exchanges and utilization of information, mainly financial and economic news in English.
The State Bank of Vietnam and the World Bank signed 3 credit agreements worth $400 million in Hanoi on May 14th. The funding will help Vietnam strengthen economic management for higher productivity, competitiveness, and education reform.
The first credit worth $250 million for economic management and competitiveness will assist Vietnam with reforms in 7 policy fields, such as financial sector, fiscal policy, and public investment management. The second one, worth $50 million for the higher education development policy third operation, will help the government realize its higher education reform program. The third one, worth $100 million, is for the School Readiness Promotion Project, which is expected to improve the quality of preschool education. All 3 credits provided by the World Bank's International Development Association are part of the bank's concessional lending windows for low-income countries.
200 domestic businesses are showing their goods at a trade fair that opened on May 14th in the central city of Da Nang.
Promoted by the Vietnamese Use Vietnamese Made Goods campaign, that has been the 100th fair held so far by the Association of High-Quality Vietnamese Goods. Under the theme, From Development of Distribution Network and Promotion for Vietnamese Goods, the 5-day event aims to expand the market share of domestic enterprises in the central region. The fair includes market research activities and exchanges between producers and local vendors to promote sale of Vietnamese goods at traditional markets.
And that concludes our VNews today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.